Hi guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. I just wanted to take you through getting started for adventure riding for your first time. If you're looking at getting into it, I just want to take you through what you actually need. You probably don't have to spend as much money as what you think to get started. You can go on Facebook Marketplace and buy second-hand gear. It doesn't have to be new. A lot of guys get into it and they spend all the money, and then 12 months later they decide it's not for them and they'll just sell everything online. So you can pick up stuff, pretty cheap. So I'll just go through what I personally use to get started. I've actually still got most of my gear from when I first started. There are budget ways to get into adventure riding. Your biggest purchase should be your bike. It shouldn't be all the gear that you got to wear to go on it to get started. So I just wanted to clear up a few of those things. It doesn't matter where you are in the world, and if you're in Australia or overseas and you're thinking about getting into adventure riding, if I to put it, I've been adventure riding now for over 14 years. So I have accumulated lots of different bits and pieces, but really you only need the basics to get started and to see if you're going to like it and keep going on with it. So we'll get started. I'm not a road rider, so I can't really say too much about it, but I came from trail riding, and when I first started I just used my enduro boots, which I still use today, because enduro boots are the safest boots to wear, or motocross boots or whatever. I don't know if these are enduro or motocross, I don't know. The Alpine Star Tech 7s or something. I like these, they're really comfortable and they've got a lot of support. So yeah, a pair of boots, you can just wear what you have if you're coming from trail riding. Knee guards, you got to have your protection, just cheap knee guards. You don't need, the full-on expensive things. These things, well, so long as you're deflecting sticks, and rocks, because your mate's throwing rocks at you with his roost, or if you go past sticks. And every time I go riding and I'm riding in the country, whether it's in the mountains or even out wherever in the sticks, so I hear these things crack all the time. So they save me every single ride, and they're about 50, 60 bucks. And if you're already a trail rider, you'll probably have some. So you need that. Obviously you need a helmet. When I first started, I've had this helmet so long, I still trail ride in it. I wash it out every now and then, but I started adventure riding in this helmet. And I just put earplugs in, like I do in all my helmets. And, there's my goggles that I dropped before. I chuck my goggles in. So, you've already got it. You don't have to go and buy an expensive helmet, like, my other helmet over here. Not that they're overly expensive, the necks, it's good. But you don't need the adventure helmet to get started. Just your trail helmet's fine. You're just testing the waters. You don't want to overinvest, unless you full on go into it like a nutter and you just get so obsessed by it. Wait till you get obsessed, then start spending all your money. So then we have our backpacks and water. You need water. Just get a backpack. It doesn't have to be anything flash, just so you've got some water. What I do with my backpack, I just have some snacks in there, just some nuts and some sultanas, and water. And I actually carry a cap as well, just so when I get off, and I would normally put my sunglasses in there as well. So, a backpack's essential almost. That doesn't have to be an expensive one, it can just be anything. You're just getting started, and you're already spent a lot of money on your bike, and these are just the things you can do. It doesn't have to be the top end stuff with all the brand names all on it. Okay, so don't be put off by that. Marketplace, you can probably get them second hand on the internet, or you can go down to the sports shop and just get one of the whatever. Now, you obviously need a pair of gloves. They're, you know, definitely. This is my expensive riding suit. I'll get to that in a minute. I've got so much stuff here. So I started in this jacket. I started in this. It's just the AXO thing, like an enduro trail jacket. And what I was finding is because it would get cold in the mornings, and whenever I was riding, if it got cold. So what I did, if you have one of these just lightweight enduro jackets, I'd just throw this Kathmandu jacket under it. And with those two together, that I would get warm, right? And you got to make sure your jacket's an extra size bigger than what you would normally wear so you can get your under thing on it. And then for my, if it got really cold, I had just a pair of waterproof motorbike pants, just the rain pants. And I still use this today, actually. I have this outer raincoat. And if you're really cold and you've got that and that on, and you're still cold, put on your raincoat and you'll find it'll make a huge difference. So there's cheap ways to get into your, even with your riding suit. And if you tank bags, they're not really that vital for when you get started, honestly. Tank bags tank bags are a bit like a woman's handbag. If you've got it this big, you'll fill it up. You have no problems filling it, right? But all I do, I used to carry wallets, spare tyre levers. I had everything in there. But now I just carry everything in my jacket. And I only have a small tank bag which carries my drone because I do filming now. And I literally just have just a smaller one. And I have my drone sitting in there. When I get drone, I just pull it out and go. And my wallet, my phone's on my bars. I'll be doing two phones. I'll explain that. We'll get to GPS in a minute. A phone is a GPS, regardless of what everybody tells you. I've got a Garmin, and I also have a phone, and we'll go through that in soon. So my phone's on my bars, my wallet and keys and everything on me in my jacket. I do like to have a cloth handy. I like to have a cloth handy, and I have a little spray just to clean my visor, because it's quite important that you're comfortable in your seeing. You know, to clean your goggles or your visor. I like using a visor personally. I find it. I just prefer to ride with it than having the goggles, but everyone's different. I'll use goggles if there's lots of dust around, but generally I do a lot of riding on my own, or if I go riding with my mates, I'll often be leading because I know I'll have all the maps and everything. I know it's sort of where we're going anyway. Safety. Now, if you're going adventure riding, personal locator beacon here, I have mine always on me. If you've seen some of my videos, there's a little yellow thing on the side here, and that's my EPIRB. A lot of guys just sort of clip them up here and whatever, but I like it there. It's out of the way, you know. And this isn't one. This is just if a crash happens. If I'm doing big rides and I'm sort of going alone, I'll reactivate my my spot. I've got a spot tracker. I'll reactivate that so I can be tracked when there's no mobile range, and I can send messages back home. And I've got the old school one. You can probably pick these up really cheap now too, I would say. But I don't use it often, and I just start the subscription when I need it. And I use this old version spot tracker. I'll just refresh my batteries before I go. I take a spare set with me, and I'll just start, you know, like I said, reactivate and start tracking. And that's purely just so I've got two EPIRBs essentially, that you can just hit my track button and the family can see where I am. That's all I'm concerned about is them really. And I do have pre-programs to say I've broken down, you know, come and get help. But yeah, I generally, you know, just reactivate that subscription when I need it. And then for my navigation, I do have a Garmin. It's behind my screen on my Tenere. But honestly, Gaia app. Personally, I always take two forms of GPS. I have it on my Gaia on my phone, and I have my GPS, my Garmin. But if I was setting up now, I would not worry with the Garmin. I've had two Garmins break, the older models, the Montana. I had two of them, one of them the rubber corroded, and one of them I accidentally, I tapped the screen, it was freezing cold, tapped the screen just went and shattered. And that was years ago. And the technology's changed a lot. And the new Garmin, yeah, I do like it, but it's expensive. You don't need it. And for 99 bucks, you can go down to Kmart, buy yourself an Android phone, and just have that on your bars. Have your normal phone on your bars as well. Put it so it's not going to get hurt. Set up your lock system, whatever you use, quad lock or whatever. And there's other systems around. Run your charger into it constantly. So put a cigarette lighter attachment on your bike, and then just put a double USB port in it, and then put your second phone that you go and buy. You can buy a quad lock sticker for the back of its cover that you can't buy a full-on cover for because they're only $99. You just get a normal waterproof cover from Kmart or Big W where you buy the phone for $99. Buy the quad lock sticker, stick it on the back, and then you can click it in, put Gaia on it. It has GPS tracking. So you just download your maps. You download your map before you go, but it will GPS track you. You don't need mobile. Okay, so that's a really cost-effective way to get into it. And having the double system is very good, because if one fails, you've got the other, and you just like to be able to track out all the time. So there's a cheap option. And to get a cigarette lighter attachment into your bike, all you do is run the leads to your battery, take your tank off, or sometimes you don't even have to. You can just work its way down, connect it to your battery, and the cigarette lighter thing you can just stick it in somewhere somehow, or cable tie it a couple of times. There's lots of cheap ways you can get it. You don't have to pay someone to install it. And then just run two USB plugs, because Gaia does use a lot of power, and yeah, and that's it. And there's a guy, John Hudson, ADV Ride Events on Facebook. He's got video lessons on how to do Gaia, so highly recommended. And again, a cheap way to get into it. You've already made your investment in your phone. Get a second one for 99 bucks. Or maybe use your old phone. Your old Android. Androids have that tracking. I'm not sure about Apple's, but Androids do. Luggage. You just need a waterproof bag. Waterproof bag of any kind. And you just put it across. This has got lots of camping gear in it, so it's quite heavy. But you just put it across the tail of your bike like that. You just sit it that way, for your first few rides, or that way, however you want to do it, if you've got racks on the bike that you've purchased or whatever. But that's only if you're going like full on overnight and everything, and you got your clothes and your bits and pieces. But normally that bag would be half the size. I've got sleeping bag and everything. This is all my camping gear, and it hasn't been squashed down for ages. So half size of that, and you're right. So that's all you need to get into it. And your toolkit. Have tools for your bike. The bike that you have. A little trick I do is I do my own servicing, and I add bits on and take bits off and do my own air filters. I use the tools from my toolkit. So I know, and that's not even that heavy, and I've got 3 bikes here. And I don't take this on my trail bike, I just take it on these two. And I know everything from here does everything on those 2 bikes. I always make sure that I have that with me. A spare tube. I carry a front tube only. Yeah, look, I used to get a lot of flats until I went to ultra heavy duty tubes and really good quality tyres. The tyres I use on my DRZ are the Dunlop 606, and the tyres I use on my Tenere are Pirelli Scorpion Rally Pro and the Motos Tractionator Adventure, I think Rallies or something, I don't know, whatever they call it. So that's what I use on my bikes, and I'm not sponsored. Honestly, I don't want to be sponsored. I have no intention of chasing money for doing what I do. I'm just parting with my knowledge. You need your tyre levers. You probably can't see me now. You need your tyre levers. You need a pump. I carry these canisters for my tyre in case I haven't had a flat tyre in 10 years. Touch wood. But I did go through a phase of getting a lot of them until I worked out ultra heavy duties. I have this little first aid kit. Touch wood, same thing. Toe strap. And when I activate I always take these spare batteries from my spot tracker if I do activate it. All right, so for tracking. My spare set of batteries, a toe strap. Toe straps do come in handy, and I have towed quite a few times, and I have been towed quite a few times when some of my bikes are a bit unreliable. Occasionally where I had to tow someone and their battery terminal had come loose, and they took their seat off and their bike kept cutting out, and I just said, tighten your battery. He goes, no, it's not that, it's not that. And I just said, mate, tighten your battery. He wouldn't tighten it, so I had to tow him 50 kilometres. Got into town. First thing the guy did at the battery place, because my mate said, get me a new battery. He went to tighten it, and the screw was loose and the ignition turned on. And the guy said, mate, you've already ordered the battery. So it cost my friend a battery. He wasn't happy about it. All he had to do was listen to me. But anyway, a toe strap. You can just get one of these things off one of your, whatever it is, your ratchet strap or toe strap. And the key thing is with toe strap, the bike that's getting towed, you come around on there. I'm going to try and show you guys. But the bike that's getting towed, the secret, because if it gets stuck right, you go foot peg to foot peg. I've seen guys do it differently, but that's what I've been taught and that's what I've used before. On the bike getting towed, you don't want to have it. I've seen guys on the thing on YouTube. They wrap it around a couple of times and then stand on it, but that's not going to release, right? So I just do a half. A half wrap, and then I'll slowly just get my foot on top of it. And I would normally put that on the other side though. I'd go my gear lever side to there. And because if you have to release, you just drop your foot. But if it's wrapped around, it's not going to come off that quick. It might even hang on. So that's just a little towing tip that I just think you guys should be aware of as well. Moral to this story is don't be intimidated by what you see online and guys who do the tube and the YouTube, and they'll all of a sudden go out to a supplier and they'll go through all the stuff that you need. You need this, and it might put you off, And I want to encourage you guys to go adventure riding because it's one of the best things you can do, I reckon. Especially, once you get a bit older and, I still love my trail riding, but I love my getting out into the outback of Australia and it's something special about it. And you can get into it without, lots of money. And hopefully I've been able to help you make a decision if you're thinking about getting into it. There's also cheap bikes. They've got the CF Moto now, the 450 MT coming out. I'll have one of those for testing soon. And you've got the Himalayan, the Royal Enfield Himalayan. Those bikes are under $10,000. and they're brand new. You could probably get a DRZ in Australia at the moment for, you know, $5,000, and we get one with all the work done for it for $7,000. As an example though, that's what you can do. You can go and get one of these, or you can go and get yourself a brand new bike. There are cheap ways to get in, either second-hand bike or one of these newer bikes. Anyway, I'll see you in my next video, and ride safe, get out there, and leave me any comments or ask me any questions if you have any. Thanks.